My dear guest today is a true hard rock and heavy metal pioneer. He has put his unforgettable signature on modern music, having fronted Rainbow, Deep Purple and Yngwie Malmsteen, just to mention some acts. His iconic voice has propelled several mega hits and rock ballads, and from his solo career he's produced rock classics that will remain of great importance for the genre at large. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joe Lynn Turner!
Ta-da!
Joey,
how are you, Chris?
Thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure, man. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you too.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm good. I'm a little tired from the road, but that's to be expected.
Oh yeah.
You know, we had a great tour of Sweden, Norway, Denmark. Now I'm off to Greece, and it's quite exciting. I'm so overjoyed and blessed to be doing this.
Oh, beautiful. It's packed. Your schedule.
Yeah, I'm working like crazy. So, but after such a long career, I'm really blessed to be working after 45 years. You know,
right.
I mean, incredible, isn't it?
Fantastic.
It's magical to me.
Oh yeah.
So,
Joey, tell me, how did this rock and roll journey? How did it all start?
I don't know. It started with a small, young, insecure boy in his room, looking at all these iconic bands that were out. Led Zeppelin, especially Deep Purple was my favorite band, and Richie my favorite guitar player. And I'm a guitar player, and I never thought I would sing. And the next thing I knew, I was singing in a band in the background, and the singer got sick, and I walked up front, finished the night, and everybody came up front and liked it. And I mean, you know, what can I say? It started with the family. It started with my dad playing records, and he was a kind of part-time singer. So I had a musical family, a lot of love, a lot of support, and for me, music was the outlet, the dream that I could visualize, you know, alone in my room. Of course, my mom would always kick me out and go play football, track, or whatever I was doing. I played baseball quite a bit. It's a good American sport, but you know, it was always back to the guitar, back to the guitar, back to the guitar. And went to university, the briefcase and the guitar. Wanted to go for guitar, but they didn't have the courses that I wanted. I would either have to be like Segovia or something else, and I was already playing pop music and the Beatles and Elvis and things like that. So that's just kept at it. I think you got to be disciplined and keep your dreams.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, it doesn't happen. So bringing a guitar here today was a very nice idea of yours, but get familiar with it again.
Yeah.
So, you know, it started in small beginnings. That's all, like anybody else, I guess.
And every boy has a dream.
What
was yours?
Well, I mean, honestly, it was this. I mean, I'm living the dream I always wanted. I feel so lucky. It's incredible what's happened to me, because it was so step by step that I just became what I wanted to be. And for me, it was almost natural, you know. And some people look at me and go, "How did you do it?" And I go, "I just followed a path. I just followed my heart." And I think that's the secret. Never give up, obviously. There's no giving up. There's no surrendering. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Because I don't surrender. I never surrender. But there's no mathematics to it. It's really a spiritual journey that you have to find for yourself. Much like what you're doing here. You found your way, and you're doing what you love. And I think they used to say, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
True.
So
true. And growing up in New Jersey, tell me of your upbringing and your childhood.
it was pretty humble beginnings. My mom and dad worked very hard just to keep my sister and I. There's only two of us in my family. They had large families. So there was always a lot of cousins and aunts and uncles and everything. But we went to good schools. They made sure they worked hard enough to put us in good schools and things like that. But they were so busy working that my grandmother actually had to kind of bring us up. And she was very musical. And, and every Sunday we'd have a big Italian dinner, and she would break out the castanets and the accordions, and my uncle played guitar. I have to give a lot of credit to my uncle Pasquale. I call him Patsy. He would get absolutely knackered on wine and just make me strum the guitar. And he'd say, "It's all in the rhythm. It's all in the rhythm, in the soul, Joey." You know, and he would be laying on the bed drunk, you know, and I'd just be playing, and he'd be doing the chords, you know. And then one day I just started putting my fingers where they should be, and there's always a broken string or something. So my father bought this guitar and a Beatle 3 songbook, and I put my fingers down and I started to play the Beatles songs. And then Elvis, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was it. I was hooked. I said, that's what I've got to be.
Oh. Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a lot of, it's a pretty common story, really. It's just that some people, you know, go become accountants.
Of course.
Which is also a noble profession, but that's what they want to be.
Oh yeah. Mom or dad?
My dad was the pusher. He was more like, yeah, go for it. And every time my mom would be, you gotta go to school, my dad would be the one going, yeah, but don't forget the guitar, you gotta go practice. So you gotta do your schoolwork and practice. And you better bring home the good grades because your mom will kill me and you both. So, but my mom was there for total support. In fact, she said something to me that resonates to this day. She said, I may be your mother and I had you and you're my child, but you belong to the world. You belong to the world. And I'll never forget that. And I knew exactly what she meant. Yeah, she meant that the gift that was given me needed to get out. And that she really never, I mean, I'd be gone for months at a time. She'd miss me and all that, but she never ever once would stop me from any of this. She was always there to just say, watch yourself, keep care of your health, but go give them what you got, you know. So the support was coming from both ends, but I have to say she was a bit worried if I would. She told me once she was worried if I'd fall on my butt, you know. And I said very arrogantly at 19, if I fall, I'll fall on my face. Yeah, and once I opened my big mouth, I had to say, all right, better put your money where your mouth is. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Joey, what was your favorite toy when you were a kid?
Toys?
Yes.
Toys. I used to play with like army men and stuff. You know, now they got all these video games where you're killing each other. But I used to set up my guys, you know, in different locations and have a war for about a week. You know, that was normal for kids back then. But really, it was about horses and cowboys and stuff. And my mom was sort of an equestrianist, so I was riding at an early age. I loved more of the nature of things than I did actual toys. You know, toys to me were just imaginative things. I would always pick an imagination toy. And then once music got into my life, that was it. I didn't have toys. I could, you know, it was just music and instruments and things.
Because you so can tell that music has always been the core of your
total existence.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
And Joey, tell me of the very early days. How was it to start out?
Well, I remember the first gig I ever played, first professional gig. I was paid like $10 or something. We played for the children at a Elks Club, which is an organization, you know, and they gave a party. And I think we only knew like 3 songs, so we played Twist and Shout by the Beatles for about an hour. You know, just kept playing the same thing over and over, and the kids would kind of dance and stuff. And I actually got like a $10 bill or something, and I was like, real money, you know. Of course, to make money, I had paper routes, and in those days you could bring back bottles and get deposits for them, 5 cents each or something, you know, and shovel snow and do all the things that kids do to make money, you know, cut lawns in the summer, all that stuff. I used to work for my uncle's masonry business. Both of them had a construction business, and I would carry cement bags, you know, with the masks on and stuff, but it was getting my lungs. Oh, yeah. And my mom said, like, that's it, you know, for that. So I worked hard as a kid. I worked in an architect's office, and I learned to draft a little bit, things like that. But I mostly went to university for English literature. And that, again, was another perfect mistake, because everybody wanted to be in psychology or some political, area. And she said to me, literature. And I said, why literature? She said, because all of life is contained in literature. And I said, sounds good to me, since I wasn't really directed other than music. And yet what I found in literature was the ability to write, to understand poetry especially. And I think that was a major force in creating a writer point of view, which a lot of people can play, but they can't write. Oh, yeah. And I think, and especially lyrically, to touch people's hearts and their souls. And I think that was, again, an amazing step that I had taken. Oh, yeah. Which really profoundly changed my difference between just being a guitar player or a singer, but a writer. Oh, yeah. And that is, when you really think of the bands, it's all about the songs. Oh, indeed. And it's the writers, who are, let's put it this way, making the big money. Oh, yeah. And it wasn't about the money, but it was just about, like, I learned the business, and I said, so it's all in the writing, right? You don't even have to be famous. And they were like, absolutely not. Just write great songs and give them to great singers and great bands. So that contributed to my education, really. So again, it was another mistake, just a path that I followed. And to this day, I'm still a big Shakespeare fan. In fact, on the back of my t-shirts, I have a statement from The Tempest that say, hell is empty, all the devils are here. Which I do believe is true.
I think the story behind Stone Cold, how you just got the idea from what happened. And
yeah. Well, that's where you take at least I take my leads from life. I just look around and go, there's a story there. It's every man's story, and you really write it for every man, because everybody has pain and joy and love and sadness. And I think if you just play on that, you tell the truth. It was like when I was getting into the country music, Nashville music. Guys told me, he said, you know what true music is? He said, 3 chords and the truth. As long as you got 3 chords and the truth, you'll be okay. People will relate to you. People will be endeared to you. And I said, that's right. Always write the truth. And sometimes the truth is not so easy, but people still resonate with it. They feel it.
I just I love your lyrics. From, it's not a secret. I seeing your solo work, and I mean, it's you even if the latest Edge of Tomorrow, which I think is absolutely fantastic, stunning, and what a video, beautiful.
Yeah, the video is done in Vikos Canyon in Greece, where I'm returning to tomorrow. Actually, it's going to be quite a journey. And we were very lucky to have the director in all that. We did it in 3 hours, and it's like an epic.
Yeah, it is.
Menelaus, he's amazing. He's genius, and he just sees things that no one else sees. And he says, just come up to the mountains, and I'll show you what we can do. And it was frightening, because it's the deepest canyon in the world. It's deeper than the Grand Canyon. And I'm on the edge, and I've got a vertigo problem. Where I think I'm always going over, Yeah. But for some reason, I was okay. I felt strong about it, standing on the edge of the rock and doing this. And it's such a strong song, Have to give credit to Alessandro Del Vecchio, though, for writing this, because he was mostly instructive. I'm writing a new project. So he was taking care of most of it, and then I would take the lyrics, and I would sort of what we call song doctor them. I'd change this and add that. But mostly, he knew exactly what I wanted, and because we've had subsequent albums. So we know each other very well. So he said, I'm writing for you. And I said, of course. And then we'd be on Skype all the time and things. So I got to give him the credit, though, because he deserves it. However, The Edge of Tomorrow is a big, something I'm very into. I'm trying to be very awake about what's happening in the world today, which we have big problems, and I think more people need to be more awake, as we say. They're mostly sleeping, and they don't understand the problems that are happening around them and when it all comes down, I think they're going to be very, very frightened, shall we say. It's an easy word, frightened.
Fight for your life and run for
Yeah,
passion in your
the
soul.
passion in your soul, and what they're doing for us, trapped in the lies that they tell, because nothing is really true anymore out there. I think like Pink Floyd said it best when they did The Wall, teachers leave those kids alone. Education is what they want you to believe, not what it really is. Mm-hmm. The winners always write history, so therefore you don't really know the true story, do you? And it's astonishing how we are sponges with what they want you to know instead of what is the truth. The truth will set you free, but it'll piss you off first. It really will. Right. Most people will not listen to you telling them the truth. Not at first, And you keep trying to get to them, and then they'll mock you, and then eventually I think they'll follow, because they start to realize this is the truth. So there's not enough truth in the world. Our educational system, religious systems, governments, forget about media. Media is always a lie. 99% of it is a lie. And I started doing this maybe 35 years ago, research. So a lot of my songs have this element in them, even from way back. But some of it just goes right over people's heads because I write it cryptically, I actually noticed that Deep Purple's doing more of that now. Not the cryptic part, but the actual what's going on in the world on that new album. And I was like, cheers, boys, finally telling the truth. And I hope people listen.
I love your lyrics.
Well, we were going to do a book of my lyrics.
Wow.
One of Maya's ideas. And
you have to.
I think it would be a good idea,
Oh, yeah.
With some illustrations
Oh, yeah.
and pictures on the side.
You have to do it.
But the lyrics, I think, tell the story.
What is your magic bag?
No.
I've just heard stories that we'll touch on it later. But when you're in the studio,
Yeah.
they just throw like ideas at you, and
Yeah. That's actually how I got in Rainbow. I think I know, and Purple, because they were throwing tracks at me, and they said, do you write? Because the main problem is a lot of people don't write. So where do they go? They have to go outside of themselves maybe they can write a track, come up with a rock track, but it's the singing and the lyrics over it that actually make it a song. It's not a song until the lyrics and the singer is on it. It's just a track. It's just a music track. A song, mainly about lyrics and melody.
Oh, yeah.
So I became a melody and lyrics guy, and the magic bag was what Richie used to call my little briefcase. I still have it actually, and he every time we would do a train, he said, "Well, go into that magic bag and see what you got." And I'd pull out all these papers, throwing papers around, and I go, "I think here's something, let's try that to this," because the magic is marrying the music and the lyrics and melodies that sound together, the sonics. In other words, if you've got a certain kind of track and you're writing a soft lyric or something, it just doesn't work. Beatles had a phenomenal ability to do that. Always their music sounded like their lyric, or vice versa. So I said, yeah, that's really unique. Whether it was like, when I'm 64, whatever, it would sound like a very old-time ragtime thing, or, you take any one of their songs, even if it was just "She Loves You, Yeah, Yeah," it was that happy feeling or what have you. They'd always capture music, lyrics, the sound was always united, and I think that's a successful thing. So the magic bag was basically a bunch of lyrics that I just keep writing, even bits and pieces. like Richie always said, he's got bits and pieces of ideas, and I'd have bits and pieces of lyrics. And we'd just sit down and go, well, what about this, and what about that? And I'd go, well, that marries this lyric, and I could put this, well, now I can put that together with this. And it's called a juxtaposition of lyrics. Sometimes you write a full lyric, and then you take the first verse, and it becomes the third verse becomes the first verse, and sometimes you break it all up. And it's sort of like, I guess, creating a stew, or cooking, you just
know your ingredients.
You gotta know your ingredients.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes you change them, because, well, I need a little more of this and a little less of that. So that was the magic bag.
But also, Joey, the way you deliver it. I mean, honestly, take for instance one of your songs, Stone Cold. One of my favorite versions of it is actually you playing live in studio, and you have an audience.
Yeah, it's just an acoustic version,
Yes, and it is so simple, no effects.
Nothing.
But the way you deliver.
It's a very, very wonderful song, and I just changed a couple of instead of the rock versions of it, there's certain chords you can't change, but I just did like more of a bossa nova on it, and it goes over so well. Same thing with Street of Dreams. I use an open chord structure, to get that mystical feeling across, and I love doing acoustic because you're so intimate with the people, They can hear they can hear you breathing, you feel them, When you're rocking out, it's one thing, but when you're sitting, like we did some pretty big acoustic, 300 people the other night, and they're all silent, and it's like, wow, they're really listening, feeling it all, and it gives you such an exchange, a communion between them and you. It's breathtaking to me.
Oh yeah.
I end up sometimes with tears in my eyes, and I have to turn away a little bit. And when then people see it, they start applauding. I'm like, don't cry, don't applaud for that, But it's a communion, a marriage, a consummation of, I hate to say it, but it's like sex or something. It's like, man, you just come together and you're feeling each other so deeply,
Will you really touch the audience?
Yeah, well, that's what you need to do.
Oh, yeah.
They need to touch me. I need to touch them.
Yeah.
This is it.
Oh, yeah.
If you're only going one way, not going to happen.
No.
It's got to be like this. It's got to be constant between us.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be love.
Oh, definitely. Did you ever have a plan B?
No, I never had a parachute.
No.
No, I could go teach English Lit, but I didn't want to do that.
And Joey, you are one of my absolute all-time favorite singers.
Thank you.
What has been your greatest musical challenge so far?
I think it's to keep going. First of all, I still feel like I'm 19, which I'm not. And but the greatest thing is to kind of challenge yourself every day to try to measure up. And to be honest, I never wanted to be, one of the best singers in the world or anything like that. And it's a big pressure. It's a lot on your back. And sometimes you go, wow, I didn't want this. All you wanted to do was kind of rock out, play guitar, and now you've got to be incredible every night, and people are standing there going, yeah, come out, show me what you can do. And it's a great pressure, especially when you're tired and your eyes are burning out of your head and you're on the road. And like last night, I was very tired before I went on stage, and I told you a story that I saw an angel in the elevator, and I know people are going to think I'm crazy, but I did. And it was a smudge, a handprint, and I looked at it, and I went, but it has two wings, and it's got a figure. And I looked at it again, and I went, there's a sign. And I took that sign just instantaneously and felt rejuvenated. Now, I know a lot of people think that's crazy, but I think it's all how you interpret life.
Definitely.
I really do. I think the magic and the signs are all around us.
Oh, yeah.
And when you need it most, it appears. But people don't, no, that's just a smudge, some other guy would say. But to me, it was a sign to say, you can do this. They're waiting for you, and you can do this, and you're gonna deliver for them and for yourself.
I agree.
So that's the challenge, is to beat yourself all the time, to constantly keep bettering yourself. I think I sing better now than I did then. I just think it's like a fine wine, where you develop.
I totally agree. I mean, seriously, I hope I don't step on your toes.
Not at all.
You first time I heard your voice, I was like, what? Wait a minute, who's this? And but just like you said, I mean, from being up here, then, I mean, it never ends. And seeing you yesterday as well, it was so just incredible the way I was actually asking you, thinking to myself, what's his secret?
It's how the songs evolve, right?
Yeah.
Like you'll take Stone Cold off the record, and then you'll hear it now live, and there's a whole other soulful feeling to it. Because I think as you grow older, you have more experience, more maturity, and it's very important to have that maturity. A lot of people, I don't want to get old, but getting old has its benefits. And I think that maturity and the tone and the way you can express yourself even better now adds to your gift.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I say I think I'm singing even better than I did. Because thank God I had a good teacher who taught me to sing correctly, and I've never had to get any operations or anything. And which is a whole nother story. My dad made sure I went to he said, if you're going to build a house, you better get a hammer. So I had 6 teachers before I found the right one.
Wow.
Kind of like looking for a sensei.
Yeah.
To find the right one to connect with you. And he's deceased now, but his son still teaches in New York. His name is Martin Lawrence. And he did all the big stars. He warmed up Pavarotti when he would be in New York before he'd do the Metropolitan Opera, and he would do Whitney Houston. And I actually sent Bon Jovi to him. And John was real thankful about that because it actually made him sound better. He can't teach you to sing, but he teaches you how to sing. He can't give you soul. That's something that comes from heaven and hell.
Oh, yeah.
But, and who knows, God knows what. But he taught me the techniques of it so that I could express myself better.
So what are the techniques?
Well, this technique.
First of all, you got to have the talent.
Excuse me. Well, you don't have to have talent, and you can sound like hell.
Yeah.
Nobody has to have anything, but and he doesn't take anybody who doesn't feel has the gift, because he can't afford to do that. You see, which is a bit high-nosed, but to me, I think it's probably right for a guy in his station. But I wouldn't say to anyone that doesn't really feel, look, who doesn't feel they have talent if they really want to try to sing or try to play guitar or something? You have to feel something. And you have to find out. So you need a teacher to start somewhere, I think, well, like Tommy Emmanuel, one of my favorite guitarists, has been on your show. He never took a lesson in his life.
True.
He just has the gift.
True.
Where does it come from? He doesn't even know. Nobody knows who has the gift. We can't really put our finger on it. It's just there. It's something that you're given, that you're blessed with naturally. And I think my dad said it right when I was small. He said, you need to be dedicated, disciplined, because you have an obligation that you've been given this gift. Okay? And don't throw it away, because this is like an incredible thing you have that most people would die for, and if you just deteriorate it and take it lightly, you will be doing a disservice to yourself and to the higher power that gives you this gift. So I always remember that, and I always try to at least come back to focus and respect the gift.
But also the way you communicate with the audience and bring forward what you have on your heart and your mind. Seriously.
That's just being natural.
Yeah.
I mean, to me,
that is so
I'm not out there doing theatrics.
Yeah.
I think I'm the most vulnerable person on stage because I just don't know. I don't have a set show. I just, whatever's happening, it could be somebody in the audience sparks something and I'll just say something.
Yeah. Fandango. Tell me more about the time with the band and the importance it had for your career.
Fandango. First of all, the name comes from a Mexican dance, the Fandango. I skipped the light Fandango, white shade pal, And we wanted a name that was sort of partyish, It was a dance, it was a fiesta, So, okay, Fandango. Who was Fandango? What were we supposed to be? Well, I don't think we even knew, because we had 5 writers, 5 lead singers, really. Even though the record company said, well, you're the lead singer, me. So they all looked at me like, jealousy again. There's always jealousy in these situations. But we stuck together for 4 albums, and then we had all of our equipment stolen at Chicago Fest, and that was the end of us. But before I get to the end of Fandango, Fandango was supposed to be a 5-piece kind of Eagles type situation. I had been doing heavy rock with a band called Ezra, playing the dances, becoming popular in my tri-state area, playing clubs, dances, whatever. And then I wanted to change musical styles. I wanted to do more of the jangly stuff, and all the harmonies of the bands that were coming out, and then Poco and Eagles and Pure Fury League and all these great guys, Jackson Brown, Crosby, Stills, Nash. So with that, we started Fandango. Talented guys, each and every one of them. But we were young, and when you're young, or maybe it's not youth that actually creates the jealousy, it's just a human nature. And if you're not evolved, we all got, you're going to be jealous of each other. And I never had that, because I always felt, wow, you sing so great, and you do this, okay, you take that one, I'll take this one. But when the record company designated me as the lead singer, everything changed. Then all of a sudden, sort of a cancer came into the band. Well, if you're the singer, I'll be the writer.
Right.
It was like, whoa, wait a minute, that doesn't mean I can't write, does it? Well, yes, but you can write less. And we had a situation like where the 2 best writers, which were Rick Blakemore and Denny LaRue, actually were such at odds by the 3rd album with each other that because we changed an arrangement and cut out the 3rd verse, which was Rick's verse, Denny said, well, then you don't get any credit for the song. And I was like, how could you do that? This was supposed to be a team, just because there's no I in team, we're all on the same team, we all want the same thing. And it just opened my eyes to a world of evil, cancerous thing called jealousy. And I swore at that moment I'd never be jealous. And that's really what broke us up, is because it took the heart out of us. It was broken within. And I think the negativity by having our equipment stolen was also part of the universal plan. I know people might think I'm crazy, but that's what happens when there's negativity, and then that negativity, the universe recognizes it, and something negative, even bigger, happens to you, because it's surrounding you.
And also, speaking of jealousy, I know you didn't like auditions much back in the days.
Well,
tell me, if you can elaborate on it, and tell me how you joined Rainbow.
Well, I mean, that story is classic, and I think it's been told 100 times, but or more. But I was living in a 1-bedroom flat in New York, roaches coming out at night when you turn on the light, mattress on the floor and all that, nothing really. Didn't have a job. Fandango was broken up. Was going from auditions with a guitar on my back, so I was in the background playing guitar, singing background, and as soon as the producers would see me do that, they would say, get rid of him, because he's outshining the artist. I had more talent than the artist. I wasn't trying to show off or anything. I was actually trying to get the job, but it was just natural. It was just shining, shine on, you crazy diamond kind of thing, And so I said, man, I better get my own band, because this is not going to work. I'm not going to get a gig, within the structure. So right about at the worst time, I got a phone call, and it was a guy named Barry Ambrosio, who was Richie Blackmore's personal, and he had taken Richie to a club in Long Island to see me play in Fandango before we were completely broken up. And he said, look, I'm standing next to Richie Blackmore. Do you like Deep Purple? Do you like this? Do you like that? And I was like, who is this? You know, I'm at the bottom of my money and everything now. Don't know how I'm going to pay my next rent. And he's saying, and I'm saying, well, what do you need? What are you from the IRS, tax information? What is this? I have nothing. And he goes, no, I'm standing next to Richie Blackmore and he needs to talk to you. I'm like, yeah, right. Which one of my friends is pulling my leg now? It's a very cool joke. And he passes the phone over and I hear, hello, mate, and all this. And I'm like, yeah, nice accent, And he goes, no, it's really Richie. And I go, Richie who? He goes, it's Richie Blackmore, and I like you singing. And I said, well, thank you very much. I like your guitar playing, but who is this? Don't keep putting me on. And finally he convinced me it was him, and he said, come out to Long Island and audition. So I said, okay, but I'm still not sure. And he said, well, we'll have somebody pick you up, you take this train, you do what you do. And the road manager called me and I said, well, so far it sounds good. Okay, so I went out on the train, there they were, picked me up. Richie was in the studio, I did the studio, we were sitting back at the board, and I was like, it's him, whoa. And, but I needed a gig so badly, I had no fear at all, none. All I wanted was the job. That's all I wanted. I went in, I want this job. This was my next step. And he goes, 5 minutes of small talk. Get in there, sing. Yep, right on the mic, threw some things at me, and that's where the Magic Bag story comes from. Because I had my lyric book. And he was throwing tracks at me and said, all right, try something here. And I, okay, mid-down television, boom, here it was. And they were talking, and they're going, this guy's got it or something. And then they said, all right, try to sing this one. And there was I Surrender. Okay, can I change a few things? Do what you want. Bam, nailed the song, right? And that was when he just came in with a couple of beers and said, you got the gig if you want it. I went, great. Okay, what do I do? He goes, well, you're staying here. We're putting you in a hotel. And I go, well, wait a minute. Can I go back to the apartment and get some clothes? He goes, no, they'll take you out and you buy new ones. I'm like, what? I'm going to go out and buy new jeans and everything. A couple of sweatshirts or whatever. And I started writing that very night with Roger Glover.
Wow.
It was like, bam, just like something exploded. And it wasn't, when I look back, overwhelming or anything. It became more exciting as it went along. But right at that point, I was just like, great, I got a gig, I got a job. Let's go. Let's do it.
Fantastic. And you have fronted 3 of the greatest heavy metal acts, including Deep Purple, Rainbow, and Yngwie Malmsteen. And how is it to take on such positions?
Well, in this case,
how do you go about it?
You got to be a lion tamer, because these guys are giants and they're brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Yngwie, Richie, come on. And sometimes they can be difficult. So you have to have a psychology about you. You have to have a stronger sense of yourself. And I think, like I said, you go in with a whip and a chair, and you tame the lion. Sort of. You just know how to work it and how to get along with them. Prove yourself. And I think the rest is easy after that. Because once you show them that you can do it and you're writing these great songs and all that, they start to just say, they start to have respect. And I think that's the way it all ends up, is with respect. It's all about that.
Oh, yeah.
Prove yourself.
Oh, yeah. When I listen to a band that has been going steady for decades,
right,
then I very often agree that one lineup is more fit for a specific decade and style than another lineup of the very same band.
Very true.
And which decade of your fantastic career has been the most important one for you, and why?
Well, obviously, I think the Rainbow just exploded. All of us. We sold more albums, bigger tours. I became a household name, and I think that was just huge coming out like that. Then the record companies had asked me to do the same thing with Yngwie. See, a lot of people don't realize what this was all about, the inside business. And they said, look, see what you did with Rainbow? You made them street-worthy, I love Ronnie Dio. And I will say right now, I'm supposed to be working with the Dio Disciples come this fall. And it's an honor, because we were great friends, and I miss him dearly. But I wasn't about sort of the castles and dragons and things. I was more about street talk and some more metaphysical stuff, but not in the same way. So it was more easier for people to relate to, I think, you know, in that way. There was a certain sect that still loves that stuff, and I do too, but I was more about street talk. So the record company would come to me and say, see what you did with Rainbow, do that with Malmsteen. And then from there, do that with Deep Purple. Right. And I got a lot of hell for it, you know, like being commercial or something. But there's nothing wrong with being accessible. It just means that more and more people love your material, right. You know. And I don't know why that's such a dirty word, honestly, because we weren't so commercial that we didn't have integrity. We had integrity. Oh, yeah. Our songs were still rocking and strong and forceful and everything else, but it wasn't like a la 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 or anything. So I don't understand that, you know, too much about people, because I think people are also jealous lovers, which is another song, which is the third verse. Excuse me. The third verse of Jealous Lover is about the audience. First verse was about a girlfriend that I broke up with. Second verse about me, no, about her more, but me, her, the audience. And I had to write it in 10 minutes because Richie changed the riff on me when we were doing the song, which is another great story. And one of the most famous lines I think he's ever said to me was when we were supposed to be, we were in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and we were doing in the Orpheum Theater on a day off, and we were doing a B-side to Can't Happen Here. Okay, Can't Happen Here just won gold medal in Cannes for the first animation video and all this stuff, so we were riding a wave. And so we were taking 2 or 3 days off, and we had the Rolling Stones mobile unit outside, and we're in the Orpheum Theater to an audience of one, our road manager, Colin Hart, who would sit there and go, bravo, you know, funny as hell. And so I'm standing there talking to Richie, and he goes, okay, this is the riff. I go, that's not what I wrote to. That's not on the cassette tape that you gave me. And he goes, well, one riff's as good as another. And I went, what? What a great line. You know, like this riff is just as good as that riff. And I said, but I don't have any lyrics to this one. And he goes, well, you got 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And they were going to start tracking it. So I ran into the toilet, literally, trying to gather some peace. I said, what am I going to write about? Oh my God, what is this? So I wrote about an argument I had on the phone. And it was a jealous lover, accusing me of cheating on the road. And I tell the audience last night, at that point I wasn't. I really wasn't. I was not indulging myself in the rock and roll life at that point. I was still too early. But I got so much crap, I just said, all right, forget it. I'm going to write the song. I came out, we sang it in it was 1 or 2 takes, and it became a bigger single than Can't Happen Here, as far as an underground kind of track. And it's odd how those things happen, but they do, you know? Oh yeah, oh yeah. So what a great story, how, you know, nothing became really something. You know, just shows to go you.
Oh, fantastic. And apart from your great solo career, we're going to talk about that later, but which group did you enjoy working the most with, and why?
Well, you know, it's like your first girl, you know, or something. Rainbow was always such a great experience. This was where all the real excitement was coming from, and it was new to me, and fresh, and you know, I played to pretty big crowds and stuff with Fandango doing festivals, but when it was you that they came to see, it's a different, you know, really you, not just you're on the bill. You know, you happen to be a support act, which they all just wait for you to be finished. This was like, now you're on the line. This is you have arrived. And we get to Madison Square Garden, we're playing for 25,000 people, and that's my hometown. And everybody was there, all the family, all the friends, everyone. So this is an exciting time. You know? So how could you replace that with anything that came after it? It would be impossible for me, anyway. So that was really the most electric time for me. But playing with Purple and Malmsteen and everybody else, I mean, all exciting. But then it became more of like a professional thing. You know, I know what I'm doing now, and I know how to accept it. I know where to go with it, and was very successful at it, I might add. So,
oh yeah, come on.
Yeah, very successful.
Oh yeah.
And I did my job. I did what I was supposed to do. The record companies loved me, and because we sold a lot of records and played a lot of tours. So, you know, it's still a business, even though it's an art. It's the art of it's the business of the art and the art of the business.
And from the 1991 tour you did with Purple, I mean, countless times I've seen the you going on the song Burn, how you go about it, how you do, delivering a fantastic performance.
Well, I grew up with those songs, so they were in my consciousness. I was singing "Smoke on the Water" when I was like 11. I was like, but so I knew them, and I played them in my cover bands. In fact, one time Richie put down that he got pissed off at the audience or something. He kind of threw the guitar over to me, and I played the solo of "Smoke on the Water." And then backstage, he was having a scotch and coke, and he went, "Good job." It sounded great.
But just like yesterday as well, I thought that Joey, he is really 19 years old. He
kind
is.
of, yeah.
Seriously, the way he delivers songs never gives up and it just accelerates.
Yeah, the energy, just keeps getting more and more. My bass player, Magnus, last night said to me, he goes, after we were having a few beers, and he said, you turned and looked at me, and there was actual fire in your eyes. And I thought, play hard. And I said, really? And he goes, yeah, there's actual fire in your eyes. It was a good way of explaining it.
Oh yeah.
And I was really impressed with that, and I just said, I'm just having such a great time up there. It's like I don't want it to end, but it does have to end at some point. We have curfews and things like that. So, again, a great man once said to me, you need the fire of desire.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's going to make it.
So true.
And that's it. You need to keep your desire and that fire burning. Keep that candle lit.
Oh yeah.
Higher and higher.
So
and there you have another song. Really. And that's what motivates people, and that's what will motivate us to greatness.
So true, Joey. Joey, you've written and produced several unforgettable albums. Do you have a personal favorite?
Personal favorite. I always probably sound redundant by saying the same thing, but your albums are like children. You give birth to these children, and should you love one more than another? Maybe one's got a little special something, maybe the other one's got a little something over there, but you gotta love them all. Even the bad ones, even the bad kids. Maybe you love even them more because they need a little bit more love. They need a little bit more understanding. Oh, well, we should have sung that there, we should have done that there, But they're all a biography of my life. I mean, I get the chance to play with these incredible people and write these songs that are basically autobiographical. I mean, you take any song and it's an autobiography of me because I'm the writer, right? When I say me, I mean I'm every man, but at the same time, a lot of that is just true about me. I mean, you can name any song you want, whether it's Power or Stone Cold. I mean, it's still me inside of maybe someone else gave me the inspiration, but it's me. It's my heartache or it's my happiness. And all we do is just sort of recycle that. So I love all my albums. I love them, even like I said, the bad ones. Really. How can I have personal favorite song? For example, "Street of Dreams."
Oh yeah, beautiful.
Very personal to me because it's a reincarnation theme, and that theme is my life. It's all about being reincarnated time and time again.
And so many favorites of yours. I mean, everything from "My Surrenders," "Stone Cold," I mean, various Purple songs that you've put your signature on. And
Signature's a good word. Yeah.
I just, yesterday you said that you were so thankful that they played with acts like Purple and so forth. But I think a lot of the acts should be very thankful to play with you. I mean, honestly, the way you carried on your back acts through your career. Seriously,
It's a big compliment. Thank you.
Of
But
course.
I do, you know, I nod my head in respect. I got the chance, and I'll never forget that I got the chance to do it, to prove myself. But yeah, I did the work. One of the problems I think there was, and I mean it was really a problem to some of the fans that were hardcore original fans, was the fact that I did put my stamp on this thing, and I almost overtook the band. Here's one small guy, you know, from Hackensack, New Jersey, who all of a sudden puts his stamp on something and it becomes his. It's quite frightening to people. You know, it's like, whoa, where does this guy get off doing that? Well, who could be that powerful to take my band and turn it around?
I mean, seriously, speaking of powerful, I mean, your voice. Seriously, the shows that you delivered with Purple, with Yngwie, matching your voice to those amazing guitars. Seriously, I mean, it's power. It's the voice.
It's intimidating.
Yeah.
And a lot of that will break you up because there's jealousy again, and then there's, you know, well, you've just, you know, we used to be with Rainbow and Purple, so Richie and Joe show, you know, I mean, like we just took over the bands, you know, and that could be just as harmful as it is really artistically good, because as I said, people really just go, whoa, wait a minute, man, that's too big. That's way too big. Who do you think you are, you know, to be that big? And I realize that, and I'm not afraid of it. I'll do it again and again because that's who I am, and I have to be that. So, but I realize it's also a detriment. It can be to some people.
Oh, yeah.
It happens. It's human nature.
It is.
So.
And Joey, you worked with Yngwie Malmsteen and recorded Odyssey.
Killer album.
It was, seriously.
Great album, really.
Tell me of the, how was it working with Yngwie? Tell me of the...
Well, Yngwie's a giant and he's brilliant, and he is difficult in many ways, but I still nod my head in respect. I think we created something that album was on fire. To this day, that album is on fire to me. Every cut, every performance is just perfect. We were pushing each other to new heights, and it was kind of like two bulls in a giant. You know, we were just at each other, but somehow with each other. And I'll never forget some of the arguments sometimes. But what happened through those arguments was this incredible song where this track would come out, and we'd go, whoa, we got something there. And even though in the end he started to say, oh, it's too commercial. Well, not really, mate. You know, it's not that commercial. It's got integrity, it's got power, it's got lyrical content, it's got musical genius, it's got everything. It's one of the best works I think he and I, or me separately or him separately, ever did. I really do. I think it was a highlight of both our careers. We just pushed each other like bastards. We really did. We were just like, come on, beat that. All right? And we'd play like more, and I'd just go higher, and I'd hit it.
Yeah.
Come on. You know, it was like two great fighters, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, just knocking each other around.
It was a synergy.
Good word, synergy, yeah.
Seriously.
Amazing. But boy, was it difficult some nights, you know, because there was a lot of tension, a lot of constant feeling like you've been one-upped all the time. You know, he'd walk in and hear the vocal and go, oh, really? Okay. You did that, right? Yeah. Okay. Give me that guitar part again, you know. And it would just keep getting higher and higher and higher. Perfect. And the guys were just going, where does it end?
Exactly.
The band was like, where does it end? It doesn't end, you know.
Coming out on, you know, for instance, Rising Force, dynamic drummings, and his fantastic guitar work, and you topping it off with the vocal. It was
And a message.
Oh yeah.
Because I said to him, we need a song called Rising Force, right? What is a rising force? Even he didn't know, really. He felt it, but he wasn't sure how to put it in words. And when you do that for someone, there's a certain amount of love and resentment. There really is. Oh, it's like a love-hate relationship.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, I always thought we were two bulls in a china shop, you know, just knocking everything out of our way. Which would be really, the product was amazing.
It was.
Yeah. Well, through fire, it becomes steel.
Mm.
You know, that's the only way you get to make steel is through the fire.
Oh yeah.
And that's where we had a lot of fire.
Oh, absolutely. And when fronting Rainbow with Richie Blackmore, you put the band in a new position in the States, new and wider audience, and he also expressed that you were the best singer they ever had.
Mm.
Tell me more about the great days for the band.
Well, I mean, when we were on, especially live, I mean, we made some good albums, but I think we were better live. We just found a magic live that was, again, like a fire. When we were, it was like pushing each other all the time. Mm. We would really look forward to every night we played, to all the people, and to giving this new sound that we had. And some nights it was so inspiring that we couldn't contain ourselves. It was just like, wow, listen to that. They get it, they understand. And we felt like, you know, so relieved that they understood what we were trying to do. Mm. You know, that was the biggest reward, really. So I can just tell you some high moments coming off that stage, sweating. You know, you'd lose 5-6 pounds every night, just sweating. And you would just be completely exhausted and you'd feel so alive, like never before. You were just alive again. So it was a crazy feeling, you know, exhilarating, depleting and exhilarating at the same time, you know. And you wanted to continue that feeling, just constantly continue that feeling. And you couldn't wait till the next night to get to it, you know. And I'm telling you, you look at the videos we did, and I'm still amazed at how powerful we were as a band, and how perfectly everyone was playing in their place and what they were supposed to be doing. Mm. Amazing stuff, really. And I'd rival any band to match that.
Okay. So, what do you think, Joey? Is the state of heavy and hard rock? Where are we going? What's the future for?
Well, I think it's time to say this. I'm working with Peter Tatgren from Pain and Hypocrisy right now, and we've come up with 3 songs so far because we're both on tour and busy. But we're creating something that's industrial metal meets classic rock, hard rock, so to speak. It's a bridge. Mm. And I think it's going to be very interesting for people, because people who don't just like raw heavy metal, and people who like heavy metal but not so melodic that it's, you know, pathetic, they're going to like this, because it's got both. Oh, yeah. It's got great melody, great storylines, and the music is just in your face. Wow. A lot of it, you know, and it's I haven't heard anybody do this before. So we're trying to create another genre, so to speak, I guess. Hmm. You know, the bridge between the two. Wow. But I have no idea when it will be ready, because we're supposed to get together again in June, right after Sweden Rock. We're both on Sweden Rock on the same stage. And even Tarja Turunen, she's supposed to do a guest spot, and even my man Till from Rammstein is supposed to come on board. Oh, cool. So that's going to be a hell of a record. Yeah. I think all of these people will be shocked. Yeah. I really do. Really shocked. You know what's going to happen. So here's to that.
Cool. Yeah. Cool, Joe. Right? First hearing you sing in Deep Purple, and I was just amazed with the voice. I'm a big Purple fan, of course, and but your style and what you brought to the band, I think you truly made wonders to the band. And can you tell me more of how you joined the band? And
interesting story. Another interesting story, I think.
Yes.
It was a crazy, crazy week for me. I had finished with HTP. Glenn was brilliant, another brilliant singer-writer, and was looking for something to do. And I got a call from Mick Jones from Florida. And he goes, Luke's quit the band. Come on down and audition. I went, great. Feels like the first time, you know, Dirty White Boy. Here I go, you know. So I go into the rehearsal and I'm nailing the songs because Graham and I both come from the same attitude. It's kind of a rock and soul attitude, you know. He's from Utica, New York, and I'm not far from there in Jersey. And he used to have a band called Black Sheep that I'd see him, he'd see me in clubs and stuff. And we had the same kind of delivery, you know. So Mick knew that. That's why he called me and he says, come on up, you can handle this. So I went up, and it was during the Say You Will period, if you remember that song. And we got through all of that material, all the old stuff, and then we went into Say You Will, and everybody was really nodding their head saying, great, great, this is going to be great, you know, blah, blah, blah. So we were talking to the manager. And I won't give you some of the dirty details because it was just an argument between me and the manager who thought who the hell he was, you know, and me kept on, don't be too crazy on him. And I just went, just don't push me, man. He was poking me, you know, and I was like, what are you doing? So I just kind of just said, look, you know what, go your way, I'll go mine, okay? So they called me up the next day and said, well, Lou heard about you coming down and he joined the band again because he knows that you could have handled it. And I was good. I'd rather see you guys together. You guys are a phenomenal band. One of my favorite bands, really. They had it all. Great songwriting, great playing, everything. And so I was happy about that. But at the same time, they said, you're going to get a call from Bad Company. Rick Wills, I think, was the one who called me on that. And I said, really? And he said, yeah, because you're very much like Paul Rodgers when you want to be. You know, you're singing that soulful stuff. I said, I can handle that, you bet. So I did get a call, and we were planning to get together. And then I got a call from Richie. Out of the blue, I got this call. And he was like, look, why don't you come on down, come on up to Vermont and audition. Again, another audition. And I said, I got to audition? And he goes, it's a new band, come on, man, it's Purple, you know, it's not just Rainbow. So I said, okay, I'll drive up 4 or 5 hours, you know, and pull into this deserted ski lodge where they love to rehearse and record in strange, weird places. And as I was walking in, he started playing Hey Joe from Hendrix, you know. And I just grabbed the mic, took over, started singing. Didn't even say hello to the other guys. And we did it for about a half hour. We were just jamming on it, going all kinds of places. So we took a break, and everybody, hi John, hi Ian, because I had never met them before. Well, of course, I knew Roger and Richie. So, with that, they go, all right, try this. So John started playing this riff on the keyboard, which later became, which we did last night, Cut Runs Deep. Oh. Exactly that way. And I went back into my magic bag and actually pulled out that lyric, okay? Wow. With the exception of a few ands and buts. And Roger helped a little bit on that one as well. And we just nailed a whole song. All of a sudden there was a song. And everybody looked at each other and went, you're in. And I went, okay. And it was like, now I'm playing with my favorite band in the whole world, Deep Purple. Wow, what an exciting dream life I'm living. And we just immediately started writing, and I think the album Slaves and Masters really speaks for itself. Oh yeah. It's a brilliant album, strong in every way. In fact, I have to agree with one journalist. He said it was the most critically unacclaimed album ever. He goes, and now I realize more and more people are coming up to me with it, and I'm signing it, and they're going, this album is incredible. Stunning. But they missed the point back then. Somehow there was a backlash against me being in Deep Purple because of Rainbow, and they were calling it Deep Rainbow. Oh yeah. Again, jealous people, angry people at what was happening, and no one was really listening to the music. They were just seeing, it was the optics of it rather than the music. But when we pushed on, we had an amazing tour and everything else, and don't get me wrong, we did very well with that. And we were starting the second record, and I think John and Ian got a little bit nervous, and they started sort of whining about Gillan coming back. And Richie was like, no way. This is not going to happen, not in my lifetime. Okay. And somehow the forces of money took over, and they offered him a very, very, very big check to get Gillan back in the band, so he'd have enough money to do whatever he wanted after that. And I was kind of fed up with all the infighting and things. And I just said, well, I quit. And they said, well, you're fired. And I said, well, I quit first. So, fine, you know. Packed my bags and I blew out of Bearsville, New York, and went home and never really looked back. I felt it was the right thing to do. And after a while, you see what happened. They came out with a half-baked album, in my opinion. Sorry, but it was. And Richie quit. And they had Satriani for a while, but he didn't want to do it full time. And then they got brilliant Steve Morse, who was a wonderful guitar player and a very nice guy. And that's the story, from start to finish. Yeah.
And the Slaves and Mosses album, I love the album. What direction are they going?
Well, you know, Richie always liked, for example, Paul Rodgers as a singer, and he wanted me to be more bluesy. And that's what we did. Whether it was King of Dreams or Wicked Ways or any of that stuff. We just started to get a bit more bluesy, which was Purple anyway. I mean, you know, Purple was a blues band, basically, a hard blues band in the beginning. And he loved it. To this day, he still says it's one of his favorite albums. You know? So, and it was very nice of him to say, in reference to the Hall of Fame, that I should have received an award for my composition, writing, and singing on that record. And I thought that was very, very respectful of him. So, brilliant album.
Oh yeah. When you embarked upon your solo career, do you think it was also because you wanted
to express more?
Yeah.
Well, that was natural. Yeah. That's why, you know, my manager at the time had said, what's wrong with doing a solo album? Yeah, okay, you know. I think the first thing I did was a undercover series, which was for Japan, where I took songs from the past.
Such a cool title.
And did them as my title. I said I'm undercover because they're covers, you know, so I'm undercover. And it was real fun. We did 2 CDs of that because you got to remember Japan had a rock and roll history for about 20 years at that point. You know, that was it. So I brought in a couple of songs that maybe they didn't know, you know, where the influences were coming from. And I listen back to them today. They're 2 good albums. The second one was a little more rock. But anyway, I mean, it was just a natural progression until now. I don't know how many solo albums I did.
Love the Great American Band.
Yeah, right. I mean, Grand Funk was one of my big influences.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Farner, proud to call him friend today.
Wow.
He's a killer singer.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Blue-eyed soul.
Oh yeah.
And I got a lot of inspiration from him.
What's the secret behind your voice, and how much is practice and how much is talent, would you say?
I don't know. I don't practice. You know, I don't practice. I mean, you have to exercise it, but it's not like you can't practice. You know, when I go to sing a song, I just run through it, try to find a character. You know, what character is this? What tone do I need? Where do I need to be harder or softer or this or that? And then you listen back and you go, that word just doesn't sound right there. I have to change that word. Not the word itself, but the way I'm taking that word. And analyze yourself. Like anything you do, you have to analyze yourself. And not overanalyze, because I learned that there was such a thing called analysis paralysis. And you get so analytical about what you do that you can't commit to anything. And then all of a sudden, you know, I know these guitar players do like 75 solos. And the producer goes, how am I supposed to comp that? Because they were so insecure about, you know, being brilliant or whatever. The best way is just play it, done, walk out, come back the next day and see if you like it, you know. So there's no practice involved. There's really, it's an ability, I think, to put yourself in a place, in a discipline, in a direction at the time that you need to do it when you're on the mic, that you are now focusing like this, and nothing else exists out here. It's all about that song, and you have to live into that world and give it what you got. And then, of course, you listen back. But if I don't have it in 3 takes, I walk out. I go, it's just not the day. I'm just a different guy today. Wrong song for the day.
Yeah.
You know, because they'll say, well, what song do you want to do today? And I'll go, I don't know. Put one up. You choose it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the challenge is, you want me to do that one, huh? Okay, come on, let's go. You know, I'll do that one.
Wow. It's just incredible watching you live, for instance, or when you go from one extreme, I'll say extreme because I'll never be able to sing like you do, and then you should see the faces in the audience when they go, when, you know, how far can you go? It's incredible.
It's kind of funny when you're going from a, say, Stone Cold or Jealous Lover to a Rising Force and to a, yeah, I get that. You know, it's kind of like, well, where's the limit?
Yeah.
One interesting thing is that I've got an album out now called Sessions. And what it is Cleopatra Records put out all these tracks that we had done originally for charity. And all kinds of great musicians are on these tracks. I mean, the names are endless, okay? You got to check it out. And first of all of the reviews are just spectacular. And one of the journalists had said that this guy just has no limits, that he changes his voice, he shapes it, he becomes Steven Tyler and then something else. He becomes Dave Lee Roth and then something else. He becomes, Brian Johnson gave me the biggest compliment. I did Back in Black. And he just looked at me and went, Joe, me son. He goes, why don't you fucking sing it? He goes, you can do that. I said, John Bryan, I can't do that every night. That is razor blades. I don't know how you do it. But that was a huge compliment coming from him, you know. I just captured but that's how I started. Imitation is the biggest form of flattery. So I started imitating everybody. You know, let me see if I can sing like this guy. Well, I can sing like Color, sing like this guy. And then you've got to find yourself.
Yeah.
And again, the biggest compliment that I ever had was from Roger Glover, who said, Joe Lynn Turner has found his voice. And then I started having people copy me. For example, Joey Tempest was one person who came out very truthfully and said, really learned a lot from that guy, you know. And I was like, kudos, man, you know. And he sings very well.
Right.
But that's how you do it. You just trial and error, find your way, find your path, and someday maybe you'll be yourself.
I think there are hundreds of thousands of singers out there who try to copy your voice, for sure. I mean, honestly.
It's a great honor. Really.
Seriously.
You know, when you have people in other parts of the world go, sing like Joe Lynn Turner.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, really? And he goes, yeah, he annoyed the hell out of me when he did that. And I said, sorry, you know. I mean, I don't know anything, but the trick is just be yourself.
And Joey, what's your motto?
You put me on the spot on that one. I used to think I had a motto. You caught me with that one. I guess it would be try to be yourself. Try to open up. Try to love everyone and love yourself, because I think most hatred in the world comes from people not loving themselves. And my father, thank God, he always told me, he said, know where you come from, know where you're going. He goes, keep your feet on the ground, your head in the clouds, and be yourself. And if I say, well, you don't know who I am, you'll find out, my son. So be yourself. No matter what they say.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I don't know. It's difficult to have one motto, you know.
It is.
Because the mantra changes.
True.
And at times you need a different mantra. And then you must operate under that mantra as well. So I wouldn't tell anybody that you can only have one thing, you know. You must find the love. It's all about love. That's what it is. If you can just open yourself, become vulnerable to people, and not be afraid, you'll find that not only will they love you, but you might love you too. You know, you might love yourself. And I think that can change the world.
Joey, what's your most valuable personal experience and memory?
Wow, what a great question. My most valuable personal experience and memory. I think finding true love. I think that is it. Just completely gave me a second chance on life. I mean, I can think of all the fame and fortune and all the things. Nah, none of it means anything without this. So I think it's true love. Finally having true love in my life, and knowing it, you know, the beauty of it and all, because I had never really known it. And I'd write about it, I'd sing about it, I'd scream about it, but having it, oh, how blessed, incredible. I think that's it. That's got to be it.
To a deserted island, you could bring 3 things. What would they be?
Guitar, my wife, and the child that we'll have. That's all I need.
Fantastic.
You know, I mean, it wouldn't be an album of any kind or anything like that, because I assume there'd be no record players anyway. I'd be bringing my family, you know, and one guitar.
You contributed on the project, The Parliament of Souls.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about the project and the objective and how it came about?
Well, we were fortunate to be contacted by the producer of this project, and really, I had to read up on Havel, to be perfectly honest with you. I knew who he was, and it was his commemorative 80th year would have been his birthday. And this man was an author, a playwright, a freedom fighter, and he was also the president of the Czech Republic, and so on and so forth. He was huge, this guy. Artist as well as politician and everything. And he was all about freedom and people's rights. Something that we essentially need today. And this Parliament of Souls was just celebrating his would-have-been 80th birthday. We just got called to go there in November for 2 more dates. I believe one will be at the Palace again. Fantastic place. And I met the mayor, you know, of Prague, and Prague is an incredible city as it is. So to be on stage there at the Palace and celebrate his birthday with all the people who loved him, and it's just to me another angle of it was the reincarnation. It was called the Parliament of Souls, and how we die but we don't die, and that we live in people's memories, you know, as well. I'm not even saying, well, come back as another person or anything, but how we live in the memory of people, you know, and how we just that memory alone continuously keeps you alive. It's fantastic how we celebrate that. So every time we celebrate, say, a birthday, some people say, I don't want to celebrate getting older. But it's really an anniversary. It's an anniversary of you being here and contributing something that you could to this world. So before you go out, you could have said that you have truly lived before you died. So that's really what this Parliament of Souls, that we all return, you know. So that really interested me as well.
Oh, yeah.
And then especially about this great guy, this great man. And then, of course, the people that I would meet and shake hands with and be among amazing people. I'm so fortunate for all of this, really. The more you bring these questions up, the more fortunate I feel, more humbled I am, because I can't believe one guy did all this.
Speaking of, you hear of visualization in sports, but did you ever see your career coming back then?
No, never saw it coming.
Wow.
Dreams of it, always, but never saw it coming. It just comes as it comes. It's like this big stream of life, and you just get in it, and if you stop rowing against the current, you'll actually find life. My father used to say, don't go after life, Joe. Life will come after you. And he was right. Just sit in it and go. Stop fighting it.
Yeah.
The older I get, the smaller my dad gets.
Using?
Yeah.
We need to sign the apron.
Oh.
So that is Joe Lynn Turner's.
Yeah. I'm gonna call you to Chris, the juice man. And then here, we'll do the signature. Let's pull it tight.
Yeah.
That's it. And over here, we'll do a little artwork. Rainbow, deep purple. Because you put it in a road case.
Oh yeah.
Okay? And then you just pop it out backstage.
You're making the metal juice.
This is metal juice.
Yes. Joey Lynn Turner.
Okay, metal juice, you get it?
Yeah.
Actually drinking like steel. Here we go.
We do.
Now, that's the sound of heavy metal.
Oh yeah.
Hear it? You can smell the goodness in this. To your health.
To you, Joey. And
Thank you, Chris.
thank
Much
you,
love.
Joey.
Thank
Much
you,
love.
brother.
For sure.
Okay. Mwah. Let's
Joey.
drink to the camera.
Of course.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much.
Joey, some quick questions at the end. Jazz, classical,
Love it.
or opera?
Love them all. I love them all. I was brought up with all of that, you see. And I always tell the kids, students, whatever, I say, listen to everything. Because if you only listen to metal, you'll only know this much. And if you only listen to jazz, you'll only know this much. Listen to everything. Pop, rock, opera, jazz, classical, metal, this, that. And then take it all, shake it up, throw it on the table and see what you get. Because that'll make you you.
So true. The Eiffel Tower, Big Ben, or the Leaning Tower of Pisa?
Wow. Okay. Les Tours Eiffel. I like the Eiffel Tower better.
Eagle,
Yeah.
polar bear, or lion?
Well, I'm a lion, so I'd say lion.
Composing, recording, or performing?
Can't do one without the other.
Green, yellow, or purple?
Purple.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Joey Lynn Turner. Joey,
Thank you,
what an
Chris.
honor.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you so much, Joey.
Thank you for a wonderful time and a wonderful interview, really.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Joey.
having this particular show and all you do for the people.
Thank you so much.
Great guy.
You are.
Thank you. Love one another.
Indeed. Love Joey.
Thank you.